Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about sounding more confident. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, I am a female programmer and I want to sound more confident when I talk to my stakeholders. Well, the easiest way for you to be more confident is to learn your craft really well, and the other part would be to learn the domain of the system that you work on really well. Then you don't have to try to sound more confident. Most likely you're going to be more confident. There is a third option here as well, which is that I work with senior developers who are very good, like they know their skills, or they really know their craft. They've been doing it for years, and they know the domain really well because they've worked at the company for years, but they're very insecure in themselves, like just at a personal level. And so that's something, it's a little bit out of the scope for this video because it's a much more complicated thing to give practical advice on how do you become more confident as a person. Now I can absolutely give you my 2 cents on it, but let's make that another video in that case. However, with the other two things, they're probably going to be the best things that you can do to sound more confident, and there's a very real value in sounding more confident. So usually the reason why you want to communicate more in a more confident manner as a software developer is because you are an expert. Now, what I mean by an expert is that even if you are a junior it doesn't really matter what level you are. As a software developer, you're always an expert because the stakeholders that you have are most likely non-technical people. And since they're non-technical, you have knowledge that they don't understand. I hope that makes sense to you. It doesn't matter if you're a junior or a senior. You're a craftsman who knows something about a very technical field that the stakeholder doesn't know anything about. So your ability to give to relax and build trust with your stakeholder, since they don't really know how the thing that you work with works, it's going to come down to a lot of gut feeling. And you give people a very good and secure gut feeling when you are calm and confident and you seem to know all the things that's relevant. I mean, it's the same thing for me when I go to the doctor. If I have this shaky little 20 something who seems to know, like needs to look things up every 5 minutes, that's going to make me as a patient a little bit nervous. If I have this middle-aged very calm, relaxed person, well, then I feel more confident about it. I feel more confidence from that person, from the doctor, and it's the same thing with you. So if you can learn how to communicate in this fashion, you will make your stakeholders relax more and they will trust you more, which leads to a very important thing, which is your ability to get people to buy into your ideas. Because usually the reason why you want to sound confident is either to build trust and have people just trust you, or to have people, and this it kind of ties in to the same thing, to have people buy into your ideas. Because you should know that if people don't really trust your expertise, it's really hard to get anybody to listen to you. And that doesn't just go for stakeholders, it goes for other programmers as well. If you want to, I don't know, say that, oh, we should use functional programming instead of object-oriented programming, and you haven't built up the street cred, nobody's going to give a shit, unless you're only working with people who don't care at all about anything. They're not going to listen to you because you haven't built up the confidence, or you haven't built up the trust that people will buy into your ideas. On the other hand, if you are a well respected and very knowledgeable programmer, you will be surprised at how easy it is for you to get things done. You usually can see who has the most influence in the engineering department based on how easy it is for them to get people to adopt a suggestion. The people who have the lowest value, they have to lobby, they have to do workshops and PowerPoint presentations and tons of bullshit to get people to buy into an idea. The people who have the most amount of value, they basically just say we should be doing this, and everybody kind of just, yeah, sure, or nobody gets in their way at all because they have that much trust. So the way to do this is to understand first and foremost that if you are a junior developer, this is going to take time because you don't have the first step, and the first step is to master your own tools, your own craft. Learning the core skills of the trade and being feeling fairly confident in that you know how to build a web application or hook up a database or do the front end or whatever it is that you're doing. And it's like kind of just old hat. It's not something new to you. You know the tricks, and you know you have experience, like you have tips that you can give away to other people. In other words, you spend more time helping other people in many cases than you spend asking for help and assistance. When you get to that point, your first level of confidence is going to build. Now you are confident in your own craft. Then the second part, which is these are not going like in a sequence. They can happen in parallel, and they should happen in parallel. The other thing is that you need to understand the domain of the system that you are working on. What I mean by that is that you need to understand how your specific system works, because that will bring with you the ability to reason about requests and answer questions from stakeholders, which is a very good thing. Because if you know how the payment system works or the ordering system works and so forth, and this is a big part of what a senior developer is all about. If a stakeholder comes in, they want you to tell them just from the top, basically off the top of your head, how long will it take us to build this feature in this part of the system? How hard is it? Like, what do we need to think about, etc., etc. And you really need to both know your own stack and the tools of the trade and the domain to be able to answer those sorts of questions. And they are the most important questions for a senior. That is what makes you a senior, to know, to have the experience to be able to answer all of these different questions. And when you have that domain expertise, you will see your confidence growing again, because now you basically know all the things that you need to know in order to deliver really good results within the system that you are working on. So what I want you to take away from this is that regardless of if you're a female or a male programmer, it doesn't really matter. This recipe to get people to buy into your ideas, or to get people to trust you and build more confidence in yourself, is usually that you need to master your own tools first and foremost, the tools of the trade, and you need to master the domain. As a female programmer, you might in some cases be exposed to sexism or things like that. It's not something that happens, like it does happen. I can't speak to as how often it happens, but if you find yourself in that sort of situation, the best option for you is usually to continue on this path to grow your expertise and mastership of the tooling, and grow your domain knowledge, and then the third thing would be to grow thicker skin. Because the thing is, guys, every single person respects a really senior software developer who can express themselves in a way that builds confidence. I've seen a senior software developer stare down the head of the entire company in front of half the company, and basically the only there was no discussion. This person was rock solid, knew their shit, and they were not afraid to take a hard discussion with someone who was in a very literally in the position of firing the entire department. And then the head of the department does what salespeople usually do. They use a lot of fancy words and try to save face, and it sounds good to the people who don't know what that person is talking about. But the entire engineering department and all the POs, they understood that the senior was correct. There was no discussion. So if you get to that point of expertise, you will get a lot more confident. If you're still unsure about yourself, even when you master those two areas, then you might have some personal issues that you need to deal with, and that is another video. Have a great day.